To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem. Carl Jung, have you ever thought that some people have a gift? They don't yell or beg, they just step back, and the world scrambles. Their silence shifts everything. People chase, question, crave their presence. It's not magic, it's power. They know their worth and guard it fiercely. But you're bleeding yourself dry, always answering, always there, always saying yes when you want to scream no. You think being available makes you valuable, but it's the opposite. Every time you give in, you hand over your energy, your time, your life. You're not living, you're trapped, caged by the need to please, and it's killing you. Why do you feel so drained, like you're running on empty? Why does every yes you force, every text you answer instantly, leave you wrecked? Because you've been trained to think your worth is in being there for everyone. Since you were a kid, you've been told to be good, to be present, to never say no. But that's a trap. It makes you predictable, someone others can use. They lean on you for attention, validation, comfort, and you give it, hoping it'll make them care. It doesn't. It makes you invisible. The more you're always there, the less they value you. You're not a person to them. You're a fix, used up and tossed aside. This is the prison of over-availability. Your energy isn't endless. It's a fire, and you're letting others smother it. Every time you react, explain, or agree to keep the peace, you lose a piece of yourself. You're not valued, you're expected. People don't respect what's always there, like a doormat they wipe their feet on. Carl Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." That anger you feel when people demand more? It's your soul screaming you've given too much. You think being available will make them stay, but it just makes you cheap, taken for granted, forgotten when they're done. Stop right now. Ask, who am I trying to save by being always on? What am I scared of losing if I say no? Today, do this. Track every yes you give because you feel you have to. Write down how it makes you feel. Exhausted, resentful, empty. That's the weight of your cage. Your value isn't in how much you give up. It's in how much you hold back, how much you choose yourself. You've seen it. A single glance, a pause, and the room freezes. Some people don't need to speak. Their silence commands everything. It's not weakness, it's raw power. They pull back, say nothing, and suddenly everyone's scrambling, desperate for a reaction. That's the strength you're missing. You're stuck shouting, explaining, reacting, spilling your energy to prove you're enough. But what if you stopped? What if you chose silence, not out of fear, but as a weapon? Silence isn't empty. It's a force, a wall that shields your soul and flips the game. By shutting up, you take back control, and the world that leaned on your noise starts to crack. Why do people lose it when you don't respond? Why does your silence make them squirm, push harder, or lash out? Because they're hooked on your reactions. You've trained them to expect your answers, your fixes, your presence. But when you go quiet, their control vanishes. They're left staring at their own mess, and they hate it. Silence exposes their game. They need your noise to feel secure, to keep you in their script. Carl Jung saw silence as a spark for transformation, a way to see the truth without the world's chatter. When you stop reacting, you start seeing who's real, who's using you, and why you've been dancing to their tune. This is the power of conscious silence. It's not about hiding. It's about choosing when to engage. Every time you bite your tongue instead of arguing, you save your energy. Every time you ignore a jab instead of defending, you build your strength. Silence lets you watch, not react. Suddenly, you spot the patterns, the traps, the people who only call when they're desperate. Jung said the path to yourself starts when you tune out the noise. Silence is your shield, blocking the world's demands so you can hear your own voice. But it's not easy. People will push, guilt trip, call you cold. That's their panic. They're losing their grip on you. Take control now. Ask, what happens when I don't answer right away? Who freaks out when I'm not there? Today, try this. Next time someone tries to pull you into their drama, stay silent for 10 seconds. Notice their reaction and write down how it feels to hold your ground. That's your power waking up. Your silence isn't absence. It's a signal you're done being played. Who's ready to respect you when you stop performing? You've felt it. A spark inside, that fire that drives you, fuels your dreams, keeps you whole. But it's fading, isn't it? Every argument you jump into, every jab you answer, every moment you spend fixing someone else's mess, it's like you're bleeding out. This isn't just tiredness, it's your life slipping away. Some people guard their spark like a fortress, choosing when to act, when to care. They're not drained, they're alive. You're giving your energy to everyone, reacting on autopilot, and it's leaving you empty. Your inner strength, what Carl Jung called psychic energy, is your most precious asset. But you're letting it leak, handing it over to people who don't deserve a flicker. Stop now or you'll have nothing left. Why are you always so wiped out, like you're carrying the world? Why does every pointless fight, every rushed yes, suck the life out of you? Because your energy isn't endless. Jung said it's a finite system, like a battery. Every time you snap back at a critic, argue to prove you're right, or bend over backward to please, you're draining it. You've been taught to react, to fix, to be the hero, but it's a scam. Those reactions aren't strength, they're leaks. You're not weak, you're just pouring your energy into black holes, people and fights that give nothing back. The truth, if you keep this up, you'll burn out, and those who use you will move on, leaving you to pick up the pieces. Your psychic energy is your power, your clarity, your ability to show up as you, but you're wasting it on battles that don't matter. That coworker who baits you into arguments, they're stealing your spark. That friend who only calls in a crisis, they're draining your battery. Jung warned that what you resist persists. The more you react, the more you're trapped. Every time you defend yourself against a dig that didn't deserve a second thought, you're giving away your strength, and when your energy's gone, you're vulnerable. People sense it. Manipulators, drama queens, anyone who thrives on your chaos. They'll keep pushing. They'll keep pushing your buttons because they know you'll crack. You're not weak. You're just misdirected, spending your fire on what doesn't deserve it. Protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's survival. Jung said a healthy psyche keeps energy in, not out. That means saying no without guilt, staying quiet when you'd usually argue, walking away from fights that don't serve you. It's not about being cold, it's about being smart. Imagine entering a room and owning it, not because you're loud, but because you're whole. That's what happens when you stop the leaks. You're not invisible anymore. You're solid, grounded, untouchable, but it takes work. You've got to spot your triggers, those moments you can't help but react. That text you answer even though it's toxic. That family member who guilts you into fixing their mess. Those are your leaks, and they're where your power slips away. Start now. Ask, what's draining me right now? Who or what makes me lose my spark? Today, try this. For one day, pause before you react. When someone pushes you, criticizes, demands, provokes, count to 5. Don't answer, don't fix, just breathe. Write down what you notice, how they act, how you feel. That pause is your first step to plugging the leaks. You'll see who's banking on your reaction, who falls apart when you don't play along. Your energy is your life. Why are you giving it away? Who's worth it and who's just taking? You think you're in control, but you're not. Someone's pulling your strings and you don't even see it. They don't need to yell or threaten, just a nudge, a guilt trip, a sly jab, and you're off, reacting like clockwork. That's their power over you. Some people master this game. They stay calm, silent, untouchable, and the manipulators crumble, exposed. You're an open book, spilling your energy every time they push. They feed off your reactions, your need to fix, to please. But here's the kicker. When you go silent, their game falls apart. You stop being their puppet and they panic. Your unavailability isn't just freedom, it's a mirror that forces them to face their own lies. Why do some people always get under your skin? Why do they know exactly how to make you jump, explain, or cave? Because they've studied you. They know your buttons, your fear of disappointing, your urge to be liked, and they press them to keep you in line. You're not dealing with them, you're dancing to their tune. Carl Jung called this projection. They dump their insecurities, their chaos onto you, and you catch it, thinking it's yours. That friend who only calls when they're falling apart, they're not after you. They're after your fix. That partner who guilts you into saving the day, they're using your reactions to stay in control. The truth is ugly. They don't want you. They want your energy, and you're giving it away. This is how manipulation works, not with fists, but with silence. Not their silence, yours is the threat. When you stop reacting, you break their script. That text you don't answer, that fight you don't take on. It's like pulling the plug. They lash out, accuse you of being cold, because you're no longer their mirror. Jung said people project what they can't face in themselves, and you've been their canvas, soaking up their baggage. Think about it, the coworker who baits you into arguments, the family member who leans on you to solve their drama. They're not relating to you. They're using the role you play, and you let them, scared of letting them down, scared of being left. But every time you react, you're handing them the reins. The worst part? You don't even see it happening. You think you're choosing, but you're programmed, trained to jump when they say jump, that guilt you feel when you don't answer right away. That's their weapon, keeping you hooked. But when you choose silence, when you say no and mean it, their power crumbles. They'll push harder at first, more guilt, more drama, because they're desperate. Your silence forces them to face their own emptiness, and they'll hate you for it. But that's not your problem. You're not here to carry their shadows. You're here to reclaim your energy, to stop being a dumping ground for their chaos.
Start now. Ask, who's been pushing my buttons? Who only shows up when they need something? Today, try this. Next time someone tries to guilt or provoke you, don't react. Walk away, stay silent, or just say, I'm not doing this. For the next 24 hours, track how they respond. Do they escalate, beg, or back off? Write down how it feels to hold your ground, to not give in. That's you cutting their strings. Your silence isn't weakness, it's a wake-up call. Who's going to crack when you stop playing their game? You're done being everyone's fix, but walking away isn't easy. The moment you go silent, say no, or pull back, the world fights back. People who leaned on you, friends, family, coworkers, turn cold, call you selfish, or guilt you into returning. It stings, doesn't it? That sinking feeling, like you're losing everyone. But here's the truth. This pain is your freedom breaking through. Some people master unavailability, standing firm while others scramble to pull them back. They're not alone. They're untouchable. You're scared to let go, scared to be hated, so you keep giving. But every time you stay available, you're chaining yourself to their needs. Unavailability costs you people, but it gives you something bigger, yourself. Why does it hurt so much to say no? Why do you feel like the bad guy when you set a boundary? Because you've been wired to please, trained since you were a kid to think your worth is in being there. That guilt, that fear of being left, it's not your fault, it's conditioning, but it's also a lie. When you pull back, people don't hate you. They're mad you're not their crutch anymore. Carl Jung called this individuation, the path to becoming whole by breaking free from the crowd. Those who lash out, they're not losing you, they're losing control. The truth is, the more you stay available, the more you lose yourself. Saying no feels like betrayal, but it's loyalty to you. This is the cost of unavailability, and it's heavy.
You'll feel guilty, like you're letting everyone down. That friend who expects you to drop everything for their drama, they'll accuse you of changing. That family member who leans on you to fix their chaos, they'll say you're cold. Even strangers, like that coworker who dumps their work on you, will push back when you stop playing along. It's not because you're wrong, it's because you're breaking their script. You'll face silence too, not the powerful kind, but the lonely kind. Nights where you wonder if you're too harsh, if you're pushing everyone away. This is the storm Jung warned about, the isolation that comes before you find yourself. But it's not forever, it's a passage. Here's the freedom. That loneliness isn't loss, it's power. When you stop being everyone's answer, you start being your own. You're not just surviving, you're rebuilding. Jung said individuation means standing alone to find your truth, and that's what unavailability does. You lose people who only wanted your role, fixer, listener, doormat, but you gain clarity. You see who stays, who respects your boundaries. That coworker who stops dumping tasks, they value you now. That friend who checks in without needing a crisis, they're real. The rest, they were never yours. Unavailability filters out the noise, leaving space for your voice, your peace, your fire. But it takes courage to face the guilt, the accusations, the quiet nights, and keep going.
You've cut the strings, faced the storm, and now you're standing, raw, real, unbroken. This is no small thing. When you choose silence, say no, and walk away from the chaos, you're not just surviving, you're being reborn. Some people live this truth. They don't bend, don't beg for approval, and their presence alone demands respect. They're not chasing love, they're living it, fully themselves. You've been stuck giving pieces of your soul to people who never saw you, scared that being you would cost too much. But unavailability, it's your ticket out. It's not about shutting the world out. It's about letting your true self in. This is your moment to stop playing small, to stop settling for crumbs, and to claim a life that's yours. No apologies.
Why did you ever think you had to shrink to be loved? Why did you believe giving everything would make you enough? You were taught to dim your fire, to be the fixer, the pleaser, the one who's always there. That was never you. It was a trap. Every time you stayed available, you buried your truth deeper. Carl Jung called this individuation, the fight to become whole, to strip away the masks and stand in your power. When you pull back, you're not losing, you're finding. The people who fade when you set boundaries, they never wanted you. They wanted your role. The truth is, the more you choose yourself, the clearer your life gets. You're not here to carry everyone else's weight. You're here to carry your own light. This is the rebirth of authenticity, and it's not soft or easy. It's a fire that burns away what's fake. You'll lose people. Good. That friend who only calls to vent, gone when you stop picking up. That coworker who leans on you to do their work, distant when you say no. Even family who guilt you into fixing their mess, they'll pull away when you stand firm. Let them go. They were anchors, not allies. Jung said true freedom comes when you walk alone, when you stop needing the crowd's applause. You'll feel the ache of empty spaces, the quiet after the rupture. But that's silence. It's not loneliness, it's clarity. It's the sound of you coming home to yourself, piece by piece. Here's the payoff. You're not just free, you're rare. When you stop being everyone's crutch, you become someone's inspiration. People start to see you, not the fixer, not the doormat, but you, whole and unapologetic. That friend who respects your boundaries, they're gold. That colleague who values your time, they're real. Your energy, once scattered, now fuels your dreams, your peace, your power. You walk into a room and heads turn, not because you're loud, but because you're solid, untouchable. You've traded emotional scraps for a life that fits your soul, but it's not done. Authenticity isn't a moment, it's a choice, every day, to say no to what dulls your fire and yes to what lights it. Keep choosing yourself, reject the fakes, own your truth, live bold. This is your life, not their playground. Leave a like, subscribe, and watch the following videos to stay unbreakable. Start now, be you, no compromises.